Hello students, hopefully you are having an amazing day. I'm Mohammad Naeem Amin Bhatti, and today we are going to have a look upon our lecture, that is the second part of our previous lecture. We have discussed the character list in our previous lecture and also the short summary of play written by Edward Bond. The play name is The Sea, and now today we are going to have a scene wise summary of the play The Sea. We have to discuss certain elements which are present in that particular play, and making it more elaborative and more explanations which were required in our previous lecture. Now we are going to discuss those explanations and those clarifications. That is the start of play from the very first scene in the north side of the sea, and that north side represents the storm. There is a lot of thunder and the raining going ahead, and one of the boat which was tossing into the water, and it was sinking in the water, and Willie is on board on the boat and with his friend Colin. Colin is about to drown and Willie is trying to save him. Meanwhile, he came to the seashore, and he sees that the Colin was disappeared at that time. A drunk man passed by him. His name was Evans, and he calls him for help, but he shook his head and says the things which he can't understand because he was drunk. After that, the shopkeeper appears, whose name is Hatch. Hatch has been given the responsibility of coast guard at there, and when he sees Willie, he thinks that Willie is an agent of the aliens. He says that he might be the agent of the UFOs, that stands for the unidentified foreign objects. So Hatch considers him as an outsider, and there is a sound of fire, and after that, boat of Colin sinks, and Colin also drowns, and the first scene is over there. After that, the scene number 2, which represents the hat shop. Mrs. Raffi is standing at the shop of Hatch, that is basically a clothes shop, and Mrs. Tilehouse is with her, and Hatch was a clothes seller and he is selling his clothes at his shop. Mrs. Raffi belongs to the aristocratic class, as I have mentioned earlier, that she is something like she has been the main figure of this village, and she is particularly the all the administrative basis of that village relies on her. So she bought the gloves for the shop and orders the curtains. Willie comes and told her about his friend Collins. He tells him each and everything about the previous night. Colin married was fixed with the Rose, but now Rose is very much in the grief, and she thought that she will never met with the Colin. Both of them, I mean to say that Willie and Rose are waiting for the dead body of Collins, that maybe one day it will be found on the seashore. So after that, everyone was disturbed to hear except Hatch, and Hatch think that that is a normal routine. In fact, it was the duty of Hatch to save Collins from drowning. Hatch ordered the hauler cut to keep an eye on the Willie. It is some type of spy. So after that, third scene is comparatively short scene. That is the scene of Evans' home. Willie met with Evans, and Willie told all the matter to the Evans, and Evans says that he know about that matter, and Willie also have some type of discussion with the Evans and told to him that Evans hadn't didn't good because he was passing by, and Willie called him for help, but Evans didn't hear his request. Evan remarks on Colin's death, and he says that his dead body will soon be on the seashore. He told him the direction, that which direction should they go to find out the dead body of the Collins. After that, in scene 4, Mrs. Raffi, the Beautiful room of Mrs. Rafi has been described and shown there, and Rose was looking at the sea through the window and she was waiting for the dead body of Collins. Guardian was set to look after the seashore so that if their dead body could be found of Mr. Collins, they will report to Mrs. Rafi. So Willie came in a bad situation and Rose advised him to take the rest, but he refused. Now the relationship grows between Willie and Rose started to like the Willie because Willie and Collins were friends, and now Colin has been died, so she thinks that Willie will be better choice for her. After that, in scene 5, Hatch shop is has been described, and he was telling his people about the foreigner invasion. He says that one day alien will came, and they will took no pity upon them, and they will invade all around the earth. And he gives the points from the newspaper, and he says that there were agents and spies who are working for the aliens. He sees every person like this, and Mrs. Rafi comes, and she isn't quite happy with him, but he becomes happy that now it's time for his sales. But she considers him selfish and proud and says that he has given the duty of coast guard, but he hasn't done his duty properly. Hatch still consider that Willie is using Mrs. Rafi, and Hatch says that he will go to the court, and battle begins between both of them. And Hatch stabs Mrs. Rafi with his knife and runs away. In scene 6, Colin's dead body now is lying on the seashore. Rose is crying, and Hatch came. At that time, they bring a cloth and cover that dead body with the cloth, but Hatch thinks that it is again a symbol of UFOs and aliens, so he puts out his knife and stabs again and again to the dead body, and then he ran away from there. Willie and Rose got the dead body to the town, and after that, Hatch is arrested from the seashore. In scene 7, that is the funeral site, and Mrs. Rafi was moving ahead, and Willie and Rose relationship grows. They talk to each other. They talk about the Collins, the fortunes of the Collins, and the bad fate of the Collins. And now they both, Rose and Willie, are in love with each other. And in final and eighth scene, Evan's home has been described in the very first line of that scene, and Evan is sitting with the Willie. Willie and Evan are having gossips about the Collins and about the UFOs and the other things. He hears the noise from outside. Willie tells Evans that his responsibility is over, and he is optimistic. Pretty much optimistic thoughts are prevailed in his mind, and he thinks that that is the point he should leave from this village. So Rose came, and he says to Rose that we out to go now, and both of them go far away from that village for the betterment and well-being of their life, and this play is end there. If we talk about the symbols, there are a lot of symbols. The title, the sea is itself is a type of symbol. Sea storm, which represent the destruction, and also UFOs, the unidentified foreign objects, are also symbolically used. Then the technique, the play within the play, that is also a technique in which Mrs. Rafi is making rehearsal for her next play that she has to perform for the payment of coast guards. The doorbell of Hatch shop is also a symbol. Purchase of curtains, anarchy and dullness, turning off the boat, the fire, and rat. About rat, Evans says that the humanity will be over and destroyed one day, and it will again start even from one rat. So if only one rat will be left in this world, the human being will start growing again and again. So that is the perception of life from Evans. And if we talk about the themes, the individual versus society, that is the one of the major theme. After that, the theme of change, the theme of economic adversity, the theme of false morality, political affairs, dutylessness, and injustice has been described very well in this drama. Sanity versus insanity, chaotic picture, humiliation, dehumanization, and degradation has been described in this drama very well. If we talk about the significance of the title, the sea, the symbol of fear, danger, destruction, death, rebirth, and that is the symbol of prosperity and the symbol of destruction at the same time. People are influenced by the sea. Life itself is like the sea, it has depth, mysteriousness, and destruction. The mysteriousness is prevailed each and everything. On each and everything, the voyage of the life is uncertain like sea, and the behavior of the sea is unpredictable. So these are some points which we have discussed today. If you have any questions, you can ask to me in the comment box. Till the further video, it's goodbye from me.